Divine update to the chosen ones, the hidden vessels, and the weary watchmen of this hour. Listen closely. You have spent years crying in the secret place, pouring your heart out in late night whispers, tears, and desperate pleas. You march through the season of lack, isolation, and crushing warfare. In this moment, you begged God for doors to open, for chains to break, and for a way out. Then time passed. The storm raged on. And to survive, you had to keep moving. You moved on from the pain. And in doing so, you forgot the very seeds you planted in the spirit. You forgot the exact prayers you breathed into the dark. But heaven never forgets. To understand the magnitude of what God is doing, you must understand the story of a warrior named Jonathan. Jonathan was chosen by the king to defend a remote, rough valley. For years, the valley was besieged by a brutal, invisible enemy. The nights were freezing, resources were depleted, and the warfare was relentless. One dark night, shivering in a cave, bleeding from the battles and feeling utterly abandoned, Jonathan collapsed. He wept bitterly. He cried out to the king, "Send me an armor that cannot be pierced. Give me a fortress where the enemy cannot touch me. Deliver me from this isolation so I can finally breathe." As he prayed, he held a raw, misshapen piece of iron in his hands. Squeezing it so hard, his knuckles bled, embedding his pain and his plea into that very metal before tossing it into the corner of the dark cave. Years dragged on. The warfare became a way of life. To survive, Jonathan had to adapt. He stopped crying out. He grew numb to the pain. He grew numb to the loneliness. Built thick emotional walls and forgot all about the desperate nights in the cave. He assumed the king had ignored his cries. A decade later, the enemy suddenly vanished. A blinding light pierced the valley, and the royal messenger appeared at the mouth of the cave. The messenger handed Jonathan a magnificent, polished golden keys. "The king has sent the keys to your inheritance," the messenger declared. Jonathan looked at the key, confused and bitter. What inheritance? I am bruised, I am alone, and I am still trapped in this desolate cave. What door does this key open? Jonathan questioned. The messenger smiled gently. "Look at the key again, warrior. Look at the engraving." Jonathan wiped the dust from the base of the golden key. Dear, he had been so consumed by the habit of fighting that he didn't realize he was already standing in the fortress he had prayed for. Chosen one, you are that warrior. This is your divine update. The ledger of heaven is being settled right now. The sovereign creator is executing answers to requests made so subtle so long ago that they have slipped entirely from your human memory. You thought that silent tears were lost to the wind. You thought God bypassed your unspoken desires because the answers didn't arrive with thunder and lightning. But God does not need a loud stage to perform a miracle, chosen one. He has been working in the quiet, weaving the fabric of your destiny behind the scene while you were just trying to survive the night. Walk through your present. Look closely at your life today. Shake off the spiritual blindness and the fatigue of the journey. Stop looking at what is still missing and open your eyes to what is already there. Remember when you prayed just to sleep through the night without anxiety? Look at you now. Remember when you begged to be delivered from toxic, draining connection? Look at the quiet space around you now. Remember when you didn't know how you would survive the next month? Look at the breath in your lungs and the roof over your head. You are actively walking through the territory of your past intercessions. You are living inside the very fortress of protection you begged God to build years ago. Chosen one, the waiting season has blinded you to your own arrival. Do not insult the faithfulness of God by complaining in the middle of your harvest just because you forgot you planted the seeds. Your current reality contains the answered prayers of a younger, bruised version of you. God held those requests in her hands, waited for the perfect season, and has now dropped them gently into your lap. Wake up to the reality of her favor. The shifting has already happened. Stand tall, recognize the ground you're standing on, and give thanks for the miracles you forgot you asked for. Yotago, good luck.